What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday afternoon. Sweating some early baseball, talking some 5-game main slate with my man Gyiraszin. Definitely the worst pitching slate that I've been on to start the year for the show. I mean, it is gross. We'll get to that. Coors Field, though. Always excited for that. My brew crew in Coors Field definitely will be the chalk. Excited to talk some baseball. My man Pop Stoner, Sean, William, Ricky in here. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Gyiraszin, how's your day going?
Hey, it's Wednesday. I can't complain. I'm excited. As I was telling you before we came out, I get to bowl. I bowl on Wednesdays and Thursdays. It's like fun for me. And the alley I bowl today is like a mile down the road. So I usually do a little extra high noons, couple screwballs. And it's funny how my average goes from like 230 to 220 by the time the end of the night goes. You know, when they give me the sheet at the end, I'm like 10, 15 pins less the third game. But hey, it's always fun. Good times. I get excited to go out and hang out and talk some shit. And, they're always asking me, hey, what should we do with baseball? You know, we get on there and make some baseball teams and have some fun. So it's always a good time. Can't complain.
Oh, always a good time. Gyiraszin, if you're around Gyiraszin, you know a good time is always on the way, which, hey, that's what we love about you, Gyiraszin. Good luck in bowling. You did message me, actually, a couple days ago or last week saying you got a 299. And I was like, ooh, that stings a bit.
I left a 4-pin. You know, what can you do? A little high. I'm a righty. It was a little bit high, but, I was a little disappointed because the league I'm in has got 10 teams. There's only 50 guys in it. But no one's ever bowled 300s in a year. I already got 2. So I was like, man, I need a third one here so I can they brought it up to me after. So it's like they jinxed me, to cool me off a little bit. Yeah. But, I've been a few frames short, like 1 frame short, probably half dozen times. But, hey, it's all fun. It's good times.
Absolutely. Talk about good times. I'm going to bring this up multiple times during the show. I know people are just coming in, but there is zero better time to get it. And I mean, absolutely no better time to get an over SHIPITNation.com. You see DGen75 is the promo code. Gets you $75 off your first month. So usually $99, only $24. Pretty much giving away a free first month. And SaberSim Core is included. So you can see right here, the core package on SaberSim allows you to build 250 teams, see 150 and late swap. Literally less than $1 a day for all the content. And there's so many sports going on. I mean, star of the show right here. Masters start tomorrow. 3 milli makers on DraftKings. Big prizes on FanDuel. Super excited to be building some golf teams. We'll be checking out Tamboline Hoop Show. We'll be checking out DGen's live stream tonight. The best in the business right there. And, of course, you see all the content. No better PGA team, not even close. Super pumped for the Masters. Also do get NBA. Playoffs will be rolling around shortly. Still regular season. Rio's got a slate planned up. MLB, of course. MMA, UFC 314. Massive card this week. Excited to talk some fights with my man Hoop on Friday. Be on the lookout for that. NHL. Shout out to Nades. Playoffs coming up too. NASCAR. All these sports. You get all of it. Again, and SaberSim for $24 for your first month. Literally can't beat it at all. And it includes the Discord. If you want to sign up again, DGen75. Absolutely no better time to join. I will do that one a couple times because, man, why would you not want to less than $1, Gyiraszin, for Masters content? You could turn that into a milli maker. 3 of them going on. $10. Someone's going to win $1 million this year. So excited for that. Camera Bro, what's going on? AZ in here. Gyiraszin, broad slate overview, initial thoughts before we talk some pitching on this 5-gamer?
Well, 5 games, obviously, as we've talked the last few times I've been on, it's been a big 10-gamer. So, there's a little bit difference. But, man, yesterday we were talking about how many good pitchers there were. You can't, afford to fade some good pitching. We saw Reagan's go off as, we discussed. But, today's pitching just flat out is pretty ugly. It stinks. I mean, you look at some of the pricing and, looking at like the slate plan title, I was like, well, I really like, one guy on DK, but I don't like as much on FanDuel. It was like kind of like yesterday where Cole Reagan's was like 47% owned on FanDuel in the $100 single entry. And on the DKs, he wasn't as much. But I mean, today's a little different. You're going to have to probably make some decisions at pitching that you're normally not going to be comfortable with. Today's the day you're going to click on a name you probably won't click on that often throughout the season. You got really, in my opinion, there's only like 4 or 5 guys you could even consider. So I got a few of them I just crossed straight off. But hey, I'm, as I just said yesterday, in baseball, it's okay just to cross off half the game sometimes and just build within a smaller pool. But yeah, pitching's pretty ugly today, Title. Definitely ugly. Of course, we got a Coors Field game. We're gonna see. We got a couple other games I think have some firework potential. Yesterday, that Baltimore-Arizona game was a pure, I mean, it wasn't very good. I think I passed out and went to bed after a minute, but I think them gummies kicked me in. I got some new gummies, Title. They got me pretty good. But I'll tell you that Arizona, didn't one of them like get thrown out for not tagging up or something? And then it just ruined the whole inning. I was like, when you need runs, you're like, dude, you can't be doing that kind of shit. But Poe Jen Stoner's starting off already.
I know.
Oh, now you stopped me dead in my damn tracks right here. He said, seeing the dust on them picture frames. Listen, I get out my Hundies out here. Look, and I work that here. That's how it works. But yeah, today's a good slate. It's not, man, if we had like a really strong pitcher, we'd be seeing an 80%er today, right?
For
so
sure.
It could be worse for the smalls we have. It is kind of ugly, but it's ugly enough where it's condensed ugly, and I think we can have some fun.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. It's clear as day where people are going, a certain amount of pitchers. So we go right here, Sort and SaberSim. I'm taking our average on SHIPIT Nation and SaberSim for both projections and ownership, and I sort it. I mean, right here, and I think this Gyiraszin probably is something like, let's just take 9 off. Maybe that's a little thing, but like I take there, you go add 6 roughly. Pepio might even be 52. Let's go 41. I think Joe Ryan might be. So like I think it might be looking something like this. And I think these are kind of the clear 4. Pepio definitely stands out at 7.9K, projects the best as well. So this is the chalk. My favorite is Joe Ryan. I'll start by pricing. I'll go quick and then I'll throw it to you, and we'll talk about all of them in a bunch because I think we can cross off a lot of them. But people want to pay for the Brewers. The Brewers are going to be the highest owned on the slate. If you go Pepio and then you pick one of, I wouldn't even probably say Joe Ryan, but Kikuchi for sure, Grant Holmes, and then, yeah, Joe Ryan a little bit, you are going to be holding hands with a lot of people. Of course, you can wrap it around. You can do different stuff with your secondary stacks. I do think on a 5-game slate, something like this, you can attack, especially with this many weak pitchers. You can play a one-off. Like if I'm playing Joe Ryan, you can play Bobby Witt. On this slate, you don't need a 7-inning, like no-run 8K performance. I mean, if these guys get you 17, let up 2 runs, 6 Ks, like 6 innings, you're fine with that, even if they let up a bomb. So I think you can one-off against them. But my guys, Joe Ryan up top, I think overspending for tied for the highest strikeout prop on the slate, one of the better pitchers on the slate, probably the best real life. I like Joe Ryan. He's 23%, almost half of Pepio. So I prefer him. I don't like Gyiraszin. I like Boston. Kikuchi, I think you play him and then you stack against him. That's normal Kikuchi stuff. Has the K upside. Also tied for the most on the slate. If it gets ugly, he loses control. It can get bad. Tampa will be low owned. Again, Kikuchi, it's also leverage. So both sides there. I like Seth Lugo a good bit. No Buxton in that Minnesota lineup. So I think Seth Lugo is one of the best. Him and Joe Ryan at this ownership, I do prefer to Kikuchi and Pepio if I had to choose there. But those are the 4 for me. Ryan, I'm going like this, like this, like this. Grant Holmes, I'll let you talk about, but I don't love it at that ownership. These are the 5 I'm looking at right here. Again, Lugo, Joe Ryan stand out at the ownership. How do you see it? I will go back and unhide these.
Yeah, I mean, for what you're saying, literally in a 10-game slate, I only would play 5 guys that I would even consider. And on DK, I'd have him rank Pepio, Ryan, Kikuchi, Lugo, and then Holmes. And I think Holmes is a little bit more riskier. Obviously, that's why he's 6,500. But hey, today's a slate. You can do that kind of stuff. Like yesterday, we were talking a little bit about Kyle Freeland, and I was just like, I don't feel it, man. It's not the slate for that. It's not the right one with 10. I mean, today I think you can take a chance on a lower guy. There just really isn't much to look at all the way across the board, but Ryan gets a KC team. I mean, I don't generally like to go against KC. That's why, I'm not really a fan of that matchup. Pepio, though, I mean, he's been pretty decent. I just wanted to see he's about 88 pitches, 85. So we can assume he's going to be close to 90 pitches, which we definitely like. He ended up having handful of Ks, 3. Well, he had 8 his first start, 3 last time. So, it's an ugly overall slate, really. So I think today, really, those 5 are the only 5 I would mix up. And I mean, I don't see a reason to go to Grant Holmes unless you really just want to stack up some bats. But I mean, Pepio is pretty cheap at 79. Definitely could use him. I mean, I don't mind the in-game matchup there with Lugo and Ryan if you want to do that. If both of them, I like pitchers a lot of times when they're 2 good pitchers are going against each other. You could just end up with a pitcher's duel. So that's on the table there. But, it's kind of ugly, to be honest with you. But I only got 5 guys I'd play, and I can't really – I mean, on the 2 sites, it's different because you have, Pepio 7,900 on DK, but yet he's 9,500, the highest price pitcher on FanDuel. So it's a little bit different over there on FanDuel where Joe Ryan's a little bit cheaper and Kikuchi's 500 cheaper and Lugo's 1,000 cheaper over on FanDuel. So – the ownership's going to be a little different on the 2 sites. I think Pepio will be a little bit higher owned on DK than probably he will be on FanDuel. But I'm going to be playing on FanDuel, so plan on mixing it up a little bit. It just seems like I like to fall in that 8K to maybe 9K range for pitching. It seems to leave me, decent amount for bats. FanDuel's pricing's a little more lenient with your bats, a little easier to stack up what you want. But, I think it's just an ugly pitching slate. We went from yesterday what we had till today. I mean, it's kind of brutal. You're on mute.
I know, what a donkey. I said, yeah, what's going on, Nades? And I agree with it. And that's like, I'm still playing some of the chalk pitchers. Like, I think fading Pepio would be a mistake. Fading Kikuchi would be a mistake. You can play the chalk pairing and fade the Brewers, and you can still win on this 5-game slate for sure. But I do think Joe Ryan at half the ownership looking and Seth Lugo with a little watered down Minnesota lineup without Buxton is definitely interesting. And I like going pitchers, like a pitcher's duel as well in the same game. I like that in this one a good bit. Holmes would definitely be my least favorite. So you can see, and you agree, Gyiraszin. So I capped Holmes at 14%. You and I agreed these were the 5 pitchers. And I wanted to make sure I'd get overweight on Joe Ryan and Lugo. And then kind of let Saberson do its thing with Pepio and Kikuchi. So that's how I see it right now. Yeah, Brewers chalk getting their last. Churio's good. Churio's good for sure. What's going on, Stack? Steven Davis, appreciate the words. AZ Bob in here as well. All right, let's go hitting, Gyiraszin.
Wait. I just want to go back and go what you said. That Brewers chalk yesterday. Let me just make sure my brain's working right. Yeah, I mean, they got the 4 runs in the inning, and it was like a slow. I don't even think they had a homer that inning, if I remember right. But it's just, sometimes in baseball, you get what you need in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. I just sometimes, you see in Discord, people are, man, my stack sucks. You only need a couple. The game's not over. I always say it's getting not over. Could easily happen. I've gone to bed before thinking I only got an inning or 2 left and wake up and you're like, the hell is this? It was 4-4. Now it's 10-9. How'd that happen?
Yeah, no, baseball's a wild game. No doubt about that. All right, let's talk some bats on this 5-gamer. We're going to go game by game like usual. The first game of the night, Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. Looking at this one, we're sitting at an 8 total, I believe. Give me one sec. This is definitely the worst weather game on the slate. Yeah, 8 total. So looking at just the temp, 43 degrees I'm seeing in Fenway. Wind blowing out a little bit. Fenway's already a good hitting park, but 43 degrees while the other games are all in like the high 60s or the low 70s. So that's worth noting. But what's also worth noting is, well, we talked about 2 pitchers that were not in the pool, Kevin Gausman, Tanner Houck. I most definitely prefer picking on Gausman than Houck. So I like some of these Red Sox. And they've been hitting the ball. So, I mean, I'm definitely picking on Gausman today. Red Sox are one of the pivots off of the Brewers that I'll be going to. Looking at the hitting rankings on the side, Rafi Devers, number 1. And, man, a lot of people in the top 100 right here. Looks like Campbell, Abreu, Story. I mean, you can wrap this around. You can go 1 through 9 pretty much is how I'm seeing it. So, yeah, I like Boston. I do not like the Blue Jays, and our hitter rankings agree. How do you see this game?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, as you mentioned, a little colder weather today out there, but I mean, as you mentioned, Gossman struggled a little bit, low strikeout rate, hadn't been getting any ground balls. I just think this is a pretty good spot for Boston. I really like the lefties too. I mean, Duran, Cassis, Devers. I think this is I like this spot more than the Brewers, actually, to tell you the truth. I got them, I would have them ranked higher, but than the Brewers, but the Brewers basically are going to be the chalk. They're pretty obvious, highest team total. That game's got a 10.5 total. It's 2 runs higher than every other game on the slate today. So it's obvious that, the Brewers and Rockies are going to grade out well, especially in optimizers. But man, I just think Gossman, Gossman, he stinks, man. I like all about it. Give me some Red Sox today. I just, up and down that lineup, they check a lot of the boxes for me. I've been trying not to play teams that don't hit generally home runs. That's kind of why the Blue Jays aren't really that, don't look great to me. I mean, like the Royals don't look great. They're not hitting home runs, man. The Royals got like 6 homers. And, when everybody's wanting to play with chalk, it's like, I let them do it. I'm not, if that beats me, then cool. If they go off today, fine. They haven't done it yet. So, but, for me, I mean, I'm looking for a roster that maybe can hit me 3 dongs, on a stack. And I'm going to get me, cash me some money today. So that's what I'm looking for. I think the Red Sox check everything for me. I really like it. It's in Fenway. I think both sides of the bats here are actually pretty decent. So as you mentioned, other than picking on Gossman, Houck really stinks. I think I would use Toronto more of a kind of a leverage stack. I mean, Houck's got like an 18% strikeout rate to lefties. Jimenez sitting there at second base might not be a bad one-off to throw in Santander as well. Wouldn't be bad. But, higher ground ball rate for Houck. So you're going to want some guys that get the ball up in the air. Santander's 31%. So I don't mind that there either. I think that would be, maybe part of the mini there. Go 3-4 and maybe throw in, somebody else there if you want, the 5. But, I think this game here is enticing for me. I like it. Like I said, I like the Red Sox more, and I actually like the Brewers.
I like it. I mean, I'm definitely at ownership. I like the Red Sox more, especially when I am eating chalk at pitcher. I'm not getting behind the Blue Jays, but you did mention a couple one-offs and mini stack. They're going to be super low owned on a 5-game slate against a pitcher that people aren't playing, but they're not playing because we don't think he's very good. So I guess that makes sense. Again, it is cold in Fenway, but I like these Red Sox. I think they're very viable as a 5-man. Maybe Bo Bichette.
6:45 2 start title.
6:45, yeah, good call on both sides. 5 games.
Yeah. So let's remember, we got a little 20 minutes early. Don't be scratching your ass on the shitter. You got 20 minutes to make your team because you know what's going to happen. You're going to be. I've done that before. You're like, damn it, you forget about them little early starts, and then and then what's cool is when you actually win something and you like got to pivot to something else. That's one of the funnier things that we like to do here, but. Yeah, I think this game is a pretty interesting game, really. You're sitting at 8.5. It's this tied for second on the team total with that Philly-Atlanta game. But, yeah, like we said, Milwaukee, Colorado sitting at 10.5. That's just – especially at the end. What brand edibles yesterday? They are called MKX. It's like a black and silver pack. And I find those ones to taste better. So, I ate like 3 of them, which is 20 milligrams each. So, after about 20 minutes or a half hour, I'm generally, basically a little snack away from going to bed. So, like a PBJ, I like some PBJ, some kind of sandwich before I go to bed, turkey sandwich, even, turkey makes you tired too. So, got to have a little snack before you go to bed. But yeah, if you see my Twitter, if you go to my Twitter, there's a funny ass video of this dude who ate some edibles and he was like, man, why all you white people got edibles gotta be so strong? And he's saying, all I taste is colors, man. All I wanted to do was go to Target and now my spaceship won't fly. It's funny. I was laughing for 10 minutes watching it, but again, I was eating the edibles, but it was funnier than shit.
I love it, Gyiraszin. I love it. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate, Los Angeles Angels taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. We have a total of 8 in this one as well. So both of these pitchers are going to be some of the highest owned on the slate. I think it very well could be both of them the highest owned. You see 43% 38. Those last games, 10 and 25. I mentioned it a little earlier, but like Kikuchi is just someone I always said on opening day. I'll play him in some lineups because he has the K upside, tied for the highest on the slate, 6.5 juice on the under. But when he loses control and guys start stringing together hits, like you can score runs in bunches against this guy, and he's going to get ownership. So yeah, I think the Rays are interesting as a leverage stack. Definitely not grading out well in the hitter rankings. The highest own, I think Morel gets some ownership at that price, batting cleanup. Caminero maybe a little bit. I don't think it gets enough ownership, though. No one's playing lefty, Brandon Lau. What do you think of this one on the Rays side? Angels, I don't love it as much. I mean, Mike Trout for sure is a one-off, ranking good in our pitcher rankings or hitter rankings. And that's someone you can go Pepio and Mike Trout. I'm good with that on a 5-gamer, like we talked about earlier. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, Kikuchi, mid-20s, he's like 27% strikeout both sides of the plate. Little mid-ground ball lean, 40%er or so. So you're going to kind of want guys that hit in the air like Danny Jansen over there for the Rays, might be a decent catcher. One-off if you wanted to kind of look there. But, Kikuchi can blow up. We've seen it in the past. It's warm down there in Tampa. So, there are a few things that point well, to that. This is a 5-game slate too. So, we don't have too many other things that we got to fade to be able to get to where we need. So, I think if you're going to take a shot on some chalkier pitchers, I'd probably attack Kikuchi. But this game's sitting at a total of 8. And you're going to see both pitchers being used. We're only talking about a half a run from the game, some games that we like, according to Vegas. So, it's definitely interesting. I think it's definitely a decent low-owned way to really be different, especially if you're multi-entering. So I don't mind it. I think it's there. It's a 5-game slate. We got to get different somehow. And we got a chalky offense. So we only got, 4 games other than that we can really kind of decipher, choose from. So, yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. I like Red Sox. I like some of these Rays. I don't like Blue Jays and Angels much, but of the 2 games so far, 2 pivot offenses I think are in play. I think 5-man stacks are too. If you like Pepio, Joe Ryan, you 5-man the Rays, you get leverage that way. I think that's very much in play, hoping Chalk Kikuchi isn't on today and the control isn't there.
It's just like I said yesterday, so ugly though to click on them Rays. It's so hard, man, because they're just it's his lineup is like a AAA lineup, and
I'd rather click them on 4-game slates, 5-game slates, stuff like that than 10-game, 11-game slates.
I agree with that.
And when the pitcher against them is getting some ownership. But I agree with you. It's not the sexiest lineup to stack like these next 2 teams, which I think is also pretty interesting. The Braves and Philadelphia, 8.5 total in this one. Juice on the over. Taijuan Walker isn't bad. I saw Nate said Boston Braves earlier. I most definitely like the Braves. I like Philly too, though. Grant Holmes is getting ownership as a cheap pitcher. And, he struggles more against lefties. I think it's clear as day. Schwarber, and what a freaking nuke he hit yesterday. 464 or something insane. And then Bryce Harper. I don't mind Kepler. Bottom of the order has lefties if you want to wrap it around. Bone grades out well in the hitter rankings. I don't, again, love righties against Grant Holmes, but Holmes is getting ownership mainly because of that price tag at 6,500. 25% owned. Get some leverage with the Phillies in a good lineup. I like the lefties. Probably more mini stack, but I don't think it's crazy to 5-man it. I like both sides of this one. And then, I will tip my hand. I like 2 of the other spots. I don't like this Royals and Twins game. Brewers is chalk. I would probably be underweight. I will be playing Rockies, though, because I think I always like playing the lower owned side of Coors, which is usually the Rockies. But, yeah, that's how I'm doing the slate. I like this game. What about you?
Pojen says, tell me about the Devil Rays. Yeah, hey, they were the Devil Rays for a minute, weren't they? But, it ain't like the Indians or Redskins. That's like your whole life kind of thing. They got a movie out about the Indians, for God's sakes. It's Major League. You can't just deny history. It's just the way it is. And, hey, everybody can call whatever you want. Like, I call everybody calls a friend different nicknames and nobody else seems to care, but you call a team the wrong nickname, everybody's got to have their arms up in the air. It's like, get over it, everybody. So anyway, but man, you were right. That bomb Schwarber hit, dude, we got a mark, and I remember, like, we can't be afraid of Philly. I don't give a shit what lefty's on the hill. Philly can smack the shit even off the left side, because we saw even Harper, whacked, had a few decent hits off of him. And, man, I thought, too, Sale was sailing out of there real good, had a couple Ks coming out. Looked like – I think he actually did K the inning, but he gave up a little bit there for a minute. But I was like, oh, man, because I was thinking Sale against Reagan's here, and I'm thinking, all right, let's go. Sale got beat up there pretty good. But, yeah, I mean, both these two offenses are really good. They check the box as being good all the way up and down. I mean, that's what we want. Lineups that can turn themselves over. And, man, you're right. This Philly lineup against Grant Holmes, this dude walks guys. He had 4 walks in 4 innings in his 80-some pitches last start, which is definitely concerning. So, I mean, because, you're going to look at it. You get Trey Turner on base. You're going to kind of expect him probably to steal a bag. But, yeah, I mean, I like this Philly stack here, and I like the Atlanta stack. It's pretty decent hitting weather out there. You're looking at an 8.5 total that we like. I mean, Walker stinks. Walker doesn't strike out hardly anybody. Low strikeout percentage, 15% to 14% to lefties, 15% to righties. Azuña got robbed yesterday by Sosa for a home run. And then it looked like Sosa couldn't even play left field anymore. I mean, the guy looked lost. He looked like me playing softball when the ball's like knuckling at me and shit when I was out there in the outfield, praying the guy to get hit in the teeth. But, yeah, I mean, this game's totally interesting up and down. I think for me, I prefer the Atlanta side. As you guys mentioned, Red Sox Braves are probably the way I'd attack against Coors. But I like this one here. Give me some Braves, but I don't fault you there if you want to look at some Phillies too.
Yeah, I like both sides. No doubt about that. Again, I already gave my thing. I like Red Sox. I think Rays are interesting at low ownership. I like both sides of this game. I don't like the Royals Twins, so I'll throw it to you. Like, I'm playing Joe Ryan. I'm playing Seth Lugo. Again, no Buxton in this lineup, so this has to get updated. See, it might already be updated, but that's big. No Buxton.
Man, how bad were the Twins yesterday against Cole Reagans? Like, we talked about how bad they were against lefties to begin with. Man, we might just have to just mark it down, even when the some of the weaker lefties go in there. And then note that Seattle struck out like 19 damn times yesterday. Like, man, like there's just like some things that you just watch and pay attention to. You're just like, man, that's just excessive. 19. I don't care if it was 12 innings or not. 19 Ks. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
like, man, we just got to keep attacking them with righties too. But man, this Twins team is just another one that's looking like they can't hit the ball. So, yeah, I think it's interesting here if you wanted to look at Lugo. I don't mind Lugo here. I think, with the way that Twins lineup's been hitting, Correa actually, was the only guy that even had a chance against Reagan's yesterday. Other than that, everybody else was lost. Waldner looked like he couldn't hit a damn watermelon if they rolled it up there to him. But, yeah,
Lugo's nice. And again, there is no Buxton. This lineup's got to get updated.
Yeah, I think now without Buxton, Lugo bumped up a little bit more for me. But yeah, interesting. I think Lugo is definitely probably one of the best pivots on both sites. I think he's going to get probably the 4th most ownership of probably the other 3. So I think that one's I think that's an interesting play.
Holmes might even be higher owned. It'll be close, 4th or 5th. Yeah, I like it. I don't like bats in that game. Yeah, it's pretty clear what I like. Again, moving to the last game of the slate, I do want to remind anyone that did join pretty late. First, we appreciate everyone hanging out with us, watching live, watching on playback. Very much appreciate. Like button, subscribe button, helps us out a ton. But, man, no better deal out there. $75 off your first month, $99, all the way down to $24, less than $1 a day. And you get the core package for SaberSim, allows you to build 250 teams, see 150 and late swap. All the sports going on right now. I mean, 0 chance you'll ever find a better deal with an optimizer, the best one out there. And PGA for the Masters, NBA playoff soon, MLB, of course, MMA 314 this week. Can't wait for that. NHL playoffs will be coming. NASCAR every Sunday. I don't know if people know about NASCAR. Shout out to the game. Does a great job on the NASCAR content. 100K to first almost every single week on Sundays. So If you want to try a new sport, if you haven't played NASCAR, maybe check it out a little bit if you want some more action on Sunday. But yeah, no better time. Absolutely not. No better deal ran. DGen75 gets you $75 off your first month, and definitely do get in the Discord if you do join. Last game of the night, Gyiraszin talked about it a lot. Coors Field, 10.5 total in this one with the Brewers and the Rockies. We know about Antonio Senzatella. He is no good. If he can't keep the ball in the ground, absolutely good luck to him. 0 strikeout upside. Tyler Alexander, he ain't very good either. I'm playing the Rockies because their ownership's going to be lower, but it's not like they're going to be low owned. I mean, we can see all this. So at the end of the day, I just like Braves, Phillies, Rays, Red Sox more if I have to pick, because I think they're going to be way lower owned, and I'm going to be eating chalk pitching. So, but I do prefer the Rockies to the Brewers. I mean, you can see the ownership right here. All of these dudes, even if you try whatever which way, you try and wrap it around 5 through 9, people are going to be doing it. Whatever 6, 8, 9, 1, 2, people are going to do it. It's a 5-game slate. I'm not playing enough low-owned pitchers where I think I can get overweight on this spot. Yeah, any thoughts on this one? Obviously, the best game.
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned, 10.5. I mean, they got 5.8 team total, that being the Brewers. But you mentioned Senzatella. I mean, yes, he can't strike out anybody. He's almost double the strikeout rate, though, with righties, 16.7. He's like less than 10% strikeouts for lefties, but he's got a pretty high ground ball rate to lefties, 56.5%. And then you go over here and look at some of these lefties. Turang, 52.6%. Yelich, 50% ground ball. Frelick, 47%. Dunn, 49%. Garrett, 51%. All them lefties are all ground ball hitters. So what do you get when you get a ground ball pitcher and a ground ball hitter? Pretty good chance you're going to get a ground ball. So, I mean, that would be one thing that just kind of alarms me if I was like wanting to stack up the Brewers. But as I kind of mentioned yesterday, I went through a couple, scenarios titled in my head, like, let's create some rules, like my brain's an optimizer. And one of them was, let's stay away from Coors Field as much as possible this year because, if you want to play the Brewers tonight, I'll say it again, like I did yesterday, you're going to have you 5-man them. You're going to have all 5 right. Like if you get one of the 3 that you're not playing does something, chances are, you're not going to be where you want to be in that tournament. And if they're all 30, 40%ers, I mean, you only get cash really 20% of these tournaments. So, I mean, you really got to nail it. That's why I like kind of to go elsewhere because, I mean, 1 min cash, barely missing the cash line, you can still play chalk and hit it and not get, not even be anywhere where you want to be. So, I feel like if, you just stray away, I'm just going to try to do that all year and just see, hopefully, I mean, I get sucked into it sometimes. I think we all do, and especially, the first game going into Coors and we got a hot Dodger team going in. Oh shit. They're going to hit their Yankees. Oh, they're going to hit home runs left and right at Coors. And then, it's baseball, so it's like I want to just fade that stuff. It was just something I said. So I'm going to be fading Coors probably almost all year. I'm going to keep telling myself that I don't want to play teams I don't think can hit home runs. Like when teams aren't hitting, they're not in the slugging percent. I'm not playing the bottom third of the major league. I'm going to try to just leave them alone. Like if or somebody like the Royals, who getting a lot of love sometimes. I mean, they got 6 homers. They're not hitting homers. Like that's how I'm going to win tournaments. So, I mean, if I feel like I stay in them guidelines through the whole season, a long season, I'm going to hit it 2, 3, 4 times pretty well. Entitled, I'll be ahead when it's all done. I'll get my usual 1099 from, my favorite gambling sites, and it's all good and fun.
And call it a day. Free money Sunday, free money baseball. Gyiraszin knows what he's doing. Hey, I did want to ask you this. You're definitely kind of getting a little different, but what are your thoughts on that? Because I can go both. Actually, I'm just going to hear your thoughts quick, and then I can give my initial ones.
So I think in a scenario like that, that's better to do on a 5-game slate just because, as I said, there's not too many other things to fade. Now, let's just say overall, no team really scores 5 or 6 runs today, and let's say the Brewers lose 5-4 or whatever else in the middle part of the lineup does well, or the top 3 do well, sure, then you got what was there, right? But, if they score a bunch of runs and it's high, they score 8, 9 runs and everybody 5-mans them, you're going to lose. You got to accept that. But if you're willing to, still think they're going to score some runs, put a little, make sure they're bunched together too, so you get that correlation on that. Well, you're looking for that one inning, right? So, I'd make sure that I'm doing that. I mean, it is a way to be different, but you're kind of telling yourself in your scenario there that the Brewers aren't going to go off, right? That's what you're hoping if you mini stack them. So
yeah, which I don't like. My thought was I don't love it because, like you said, you're hoping that your guys do something, but the Brewers as a team don't. But any one-off or mini stack you're doing, like you're eating chalk. If the Brewers fully get there, you think you probably need 5. I would rather bank on the Brewers as fully not getting there. And yeah, like maybe 2 of these guys do something and no one else. But you have to pick the right 2. Like, good luck doing that. I just don't. On such a short slate, I think you should be either all in, 5-man the Brewers. You get different in other spots. And Brewer stacks can still win it. You can still eat a chalk pitcher, a 5-man Brewer stack, maybe do something else different in the other spot. Maybe have a hitter against your pitcher in that lineup. But I don't think playing 2 Brewers would be 5-2-1 and my 2's Brewers. I'd probably stay away from those lineups more so. But again, I would trust Saberson.
Title, I've been asked, a few times too about, on a 5-game slate, I've seen some of the better DFS players in some high level, high dollar tournaments that I've had, got to watch or was, rooting a friend on or whoever. And in a small slate like this, you'll see a combination. They won't even stack sometimes. They're playing more of a cash game type. They're cherry picking, spots, maybe 2 or 3, man stacks. I mean, that kind of comes in play a little more today too on a shorter slate like this because, hey, if you get these 5 games and nobody scores over 5 or 6 runs, the team that probably cherry picks them are going to win. You'll see that at the top. You're like, dude, look at this guy's roster construction. What a donkey. Like, you keep doing that, you probably won't win. I think there's a time and a place for it. As you mentioned, playing a hitter against your pitcher. I think this is a type slate you could definitely do that because none of these guys are going 7 innings today that are probably pitching. None of them. So, you're just basically on a 5-game slate, 4-game slates, even sometimes a 6-gamer, depending, because you might have some games that are crossed off. I mean, it doesn't matter how many games on the slate. There just might be some flat out duds that, the pool's only being picked from. So I think you can be a little different today on doing things you wouldn't normally do on a 10-gamer. A 10-gamer, a team scores 9 or 10 runs, that stack's going to win. And what I mean? So, but today, if you think overall in the 5 games, you think nobody's going to score 5 or 6 runs, I wouldn't fault you for wanting to mix up your lineup a little bit. Maybe play some guys that are hot. Go to the major league, see who's been hitting lately. Maybe throw together a team of guys that have been hitting well in the last week or 2. I mean, there's different ways to do things. And I think on a 5-game, 4-game slate, that's where you can be a little different with things and kind of take riskier chances than normal. And then on a big slate where you got, just too many landmines to avoid, that are going to blow up your lineup. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think I kind of like these little goofy slates like this because there's, you do have a cores, you got some things that are kind of laid out for you, what's going to be there. And there's just ways of beating it. Like the mini stack, like we were talking. Yeah. I mean, I like the explaining that kind of stuff with my experience to, novice, guys that may not think of that. Like think in your head what could happen and how you could get there. If all this happens, look at all the games and you think, I don't think any of them are going to, produce 3 home runs or 8 runs today. Well, mix it up a little bit if you want. I have a 3-man stack or have a 1 stack and throw 4 off guys in there. You could do that too, like a hybrid kind of cash kind of stack lineup. I don't know, Title. There's so many ways you go at it, a slate like this. That's what I think is kind of fun about it. But yeah, I mean, I may not stack up today. I may not fully stack anything. I might just throw in some guys that I think, maybe 1 stack or a 3-man stack. There's different ways of going about it.
Yeah, there 100% is. That's the beauty of DFS in every sport. Like, the reason I stack and most people stack is you need less things right. You're guessing less things to happen. All you're pretty much saying is you're putting all your eggs in one basket. That team, 5-man stack. That team does bad, you do bad. That team does great, you do great. And again, there's luck in picking the right hitters. There's some skill looking at hitter rankings, all that. I trust Saberson a lot of the times too. I focus more on the team I want. like Gyiraszin said, though, if all these teams score 6 or less, the hard part about one-offing stuff is if they don't get home runs, like 2 singles for every single one of them is not good enough. Whereas if you have 2 singles on your whole 5-man stack, you probably have RBIs, you probably have runs. You just don't get that correlation with one-offs. But if you get all 3 guys that hit homers, I promise you'll be happy. It's just harder to do that. But there's plenty of ways to play MLB DFS.
And that's why I like to go to the hot hitters title. I mean, baseball's a game of up and downs, right? It's like gambling. You're sitting at the blackjack table. If you got, like, when I walk up to a blackjack table, if most of the players don't have more chips that I think they started with, I'm going to keep on walking. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, why am I sitting in a guy's losing seat? I mean, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. So right here too, more education. You can see, PGA, the Masters tomorrow, plenty of you probably are playing it. Right here, check out the PGA course. MLB, definitely check that out. About an hour and a half talking to baseball, hoop and Tambo. Again, all the tools, hitter rankings, pitcher rankings, stack rankings, slate plan, our man Gyiraszin. The cash cores are found in there. Projections, ownership, NBA, big boy slate tonight. Rio's got a slate plan. You can see cash report, core report, PGA is all up. Again, Masters tomorrow. Super, super pumped for that. MMA 314. Me and my man Hoopster talking some fights on Friday. Super, super pumped this week. A lot of money to be made. Again,
golf sweats are fun. Golf sweats are fun, though.
Golf was fun.
It just sucks, Title, when you're, after day one. And I think it was last year, one of the majors.
It was you.
I was winning like
showdown.
I was winning like $100,000 off like $500 after the first day, right?
Yeah, you were.
The only damn time, the one day it doesn't end, I don't win. I was like, what the hell? I was like, and then, all weekend it just went. I think I ended up winning like 8 or 9, 10K or something, but it wasn't 100 that I had after the first night. But yeah,
I'm super pumped.
Those golf sweats are fun as can be.
I'm super pumped. I got 470 teams to build tonight, and I don't play too much golf usually. Prizes were so big, the best team out there for sure. Usually in the cash streets, but I am super pumped to get on SaberSim, get our projections and ownership in the PGA, pull up the content, the slate plan on one, SaberSim right here, and start dialing in tonight. So yeah, it's going to be fun this weekend. Again, so many sports going on. And again, $75 off your first month. Definitely want to get in before it goes away. $24 for your first month and SaberSim using the promo code DGen75. Send us out of here, Gyiraszin. Any final thoughts for the people?
Hey, good luck, everybody. Let's have some fun tonight. Keep them logos up there at the top. Ain't nothing better after the week's end and we see all the weekly winner, all them big numbers that are out there. How many other sites show you stuff like that? And, it's just usually the coordinators are all showing you who won. Nobody cares about the coordinators winning. We want the people to win. That's what we like. We celebrate all you guys winning. We love it. Man, I always make sure I like your tweets or whatever else if I see you out there tweeting out. I mean, it's just what we're here for. I love it. Bo Jen saying, hey, I like the thought process of different people. I mean, that's what it's all about, man. I mean, you don't know it all. Nobody knows it all. I mean, if we did, I'd probably be sitting, who knows where I'd be sitting, probably up there in Vegas in the high rise laughing at everybody. But, it's just a lot of fun. This game we play. Baseball's tough, but hey, it's just like poker, Title. We can tell you can play aces all the time. Don't mean you're going to win, but we will definitely put you in a position over the long run to win, have some fun. That's what we're here for. But nothing better than SHIPIT Nation right now, though. That is for sure. Masters is fun. We're coming into that time of year where it's just going to be some baseball Masters. I know you guys crush UFC. I think Hoop was winning like $50,000 like for like 2 months straight. It seemed like every damn week when you guys were out there talking about it. So a lot of fun. But hey, guess what? I'm going to go to the bowling alley, drink some screwballs. And then, you know what? Maybe for y'all later when I bowl another 300 today, because I need my third one. And I'll tweet it out so we can, get the third one out there.
Yeah, you need to tweet it out. I'll be on the lookout. Good luck tonight, Gyiraszin, bowling 300. Enjoy your night with some high noons. I'll be enjoying my night, grinding some DFS, some MLB, and some NBA, hoping to make some money. Again, get over ShipItNation.com. If you want to join DGen75, get in the Discord. Awesome stuff, Gyiraszin. You and I will be back tomorrow morning. I believe right now, 11 a.m. Eastern. If that changes, again, you can find the shows right here. Shows, you can see it. Early MLB slate. Awesome stuff, Gyiraszin. You have a great night. Good talking some ball. Everyone else, you have a good night as well. And be safe. For Gyiraszin, I'm Title Town. Peace. Good luck tonight.